It's time for Rabbi Minkowicz's Weekly Torah Lesson, a place where life's most difficult questions are answered. Here with his spiritual perspective and insight, Rabbi Minkowicz.
Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha Yisro. The question of the week is, how can we all be leaders? So in this week's Torah portion, Parsha Yisro, the obvious question is asked, in this Torah portion of Yisro, we have the 10 Commandments that the Jewish people receive at Mount Sinai. So one would think the name of the Torah portion would be called 10 Commandments, or God revealing himself. What is the name of the Torah portion? Total other spectrum. The name of who? Moses' father-in-law, Yisro, Jethro. What's the message? What's the connection? So the Rebbe explains a fascinating insight, and that is as follows. God gave us the Torah. God himself came to Mount Sinai, as it says in this week's Torah from Parsha Yisro, and he gave us the 10 Commandments. That's an overwhelming experience. What would happen to each and every one of us? Whoa, it's God's Torah. We would sit and tremble as we study it, and as we do with respect. However, it would not allow us to be a thinker and a leader and be innovative. So God took Yisro, who came to the Jewish people, and when he saw Moses dealing with all the new laws, and he realized, oh my gosh, it's not working. So he instituted the delegation abilities, and he trained him how to be a delegator. And matter of fact, Yisro got his name Yisro from the fact that he initiated the concept of delegation, and Yisro became his new name because he added something new to the Jewish people. And not only did he add something new to the Jewish people, he actually added an extra section in the Torah, and that's where his name Yisro comes from, because Yisro means from adding. So he added to the Jewish people, and he added to the Torah. But God specifically chose to use that name that was given to him for adding to the Jewish people and adding to the Torah as the name of the Torah portion where the 10 Commandments are in. Why? To teach us that God wants us to be leaders when it comes to studying Torah, thinking about the Torah, innovative ideas of comprehending and understanding Torah. And that is why till today there's hundreds and thousands of commentaries on the Torah. Because God wants each and every one of us to be a Yisro, to be someone that adds insight and leadership qualities and ideas into the Torah, which will affect us in our lives. So, to answer the question, how can we each be a leader? Study Torah, think about it, come up with a novel, new idea, which is, on one hand, consistent with the Torah's message, but add a flair, add a new concept, a new insight, and then you can be a leader just like Yisro and all the hundreds and thousands of Jews that have been leaders all throughout Jewish history. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated to the memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib. May his soul be elevated for the Torah that we're studying in his memory. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. Please join us for live classes here at Chabad. Thursday, Chana gives a Parsha class from 11 to 12. Thursday evening, we have a Parsha class based on Kabbalah, based on the teachings of the Arizal at 7 o'clock. And Shabbat morning, we have a Kabbalah class based on the teachings of the Rebbe, 9 a.m., followed by services, followed by a Kiddush and a Farbrengen. Shavua Tov, and have a great week.